Glory and hatred do not have a lot in common, but one thread they share could be two terrific motivating factors, both at play here tonight. New Mexico United, Phoenix Rising don't like each other very much. Both want to get through to the Western Conference semifinal in the USL playoffs, brought to you by Terminix. That one spot remaining is against Las Vegas Lights, already set on the other side with Colorado Springs and Orange County. We're happy to have you with us here tonight on CBS Sports Network. That's the former German pro Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Devin, these two teams did not end the season the way they had hoped, but beat your rival, get through, simple as that, and Phoenix knows a thing or two, taking home the title last year.
Stylistically, this is a very different team than the Phoenix Rising of last year, and certainly in terms of confidence, they're nowhere near what we saw that squad take all the way to the final. But a friendly reminder to everybody, 5 of the starting 11 tonight and 8 of the 18 overall were in that team that did put a star above the crest. So until someone dethrones them, that's still the reigning champion, a chip in a chair, if you will. But to do it, you're going to have to go through New Mexico United, who statistically throughout the season, they set records. Home wins, wins overall, and points, and they did it because of Eric Quill's style. He's given this team more of an identity moving forward. They dominate the ball. They move you side to side. Sometimes it's death by 1,000 touches, but they can still transition with the best of them. The hope is that the balance that they exhibited early on in the season returns come postseason time with just 1 win in 6. And they hope that it happens at home. 10 games unbeaten, dating back to last season to start this year at home, made them one of the most difficult places to play in all the USL Championship. Top 5 overall. The Lab at Isotopes Park, with their altitude, Eric Quill's style, makes them nearly unbeatable when they are at their best. But this Phoenix Rising team, although they're struggling on the attacking side, although they themselves have lacked results coming into the postseason, this is still statistically one of the best defensive teams in all the USL Championship. Diego Gomez, very different style than what we saw from Danny Stone. He's consistent, he sets them a little bit deeper, he wants them on the ball a lot more, and shutouts in 8 of their last 16 games. The numbers prove it.
Big reason why their backstop, Rocco Rios Novo, our third crew member, Michelle Montaigne, caught up with him pregame.
Thanks, Joe. Rocco, having been a 6th seed last year and going all the way, how does that experience give you the faith that you guys can come in as an 8th seed and repeat that type of thing?
Hello. No, I mean, it's the same. We are here. We are in playoffs. So we will try to do our best to win this game first and to get the championship again.
Knowing this is a rivalry game, no love lost between these two sides. With it being your first time meeting in the postseason, what feels different about this game, even though it's an opponent you know so well?
No, it's not different. It's a game. For sure, it's more important. It's playoff the game. It's first game of playoff. But we will do what we are doing during the season, and yeah, we will try to win.
All right, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Possession-based style sees one change for Diego Gomez with Pop Boy, the welcome center back, into the back line. The question tonight's going to be is, do they want to sit in a 4 or pivot out into 3? They have the versatility to do so, but I like the idea of absorbing a little bit more pressure, forcing New Mexico United into mistakes, countering in to the space available behind. New Mexico United and Eric Quill change on the back line. Anthony Herbert in for Kalen Ryden. Let's see what level of aggression you get out of Talon Maples at the center back spot. Has to be very careful with the overload of numbers in the middle, and they have to keep Greg Hurst up high. Constant pressure on the back line for Phoenix Rising.
One of the best rivalries in USL Championship, meaning for the first time at this juncture in the postseason, it's New Mexico and Phoenix next from the Lab. Just about set to kick things off here at the Lab, Isotopes Park in Albuquerque. These fans, some of the best in USL Championship, at home as the 1 seed against their bitter rival. Environment should be tip-top tonight. Happy to have you along for the ride on CBS Sports Network with Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Final matchup in the conference quarterfinal round in the USL playoffs, brought to you by Terminix. It's Phoenix in the red, left to right. New Mexico in the black, right to left. Referee in charge this evening, Lorenzo Hernandez. We wait for his whistle to send us on our way. Winner gets Las Vegas next week. Arturo Astorga, the ceremonial first kick. Injury ended his season early. New Mexico missing some pieces because of injury down the stretch here. Phoenix, just about a full deck of cards. Missing Mo Traore from the 11 and not available on the bench. Just about 2 full-strength units, though. Met a month ago, October 9th. Win for Phoenix, 2-1 right here in New Mexico. First meeting came back in March. 1-0 win for New Mexico in Phoenix. These teams have met in the regular season. They've met in Open Cup. They're meeting now in the playoffs for the first time. And we are underway between Phoenix and New Mexico. If this is just a small taste of what this crowd is going to be like tonight, it is going to be a special night at the Lab. They're hoping to see a victory for the first time since September 22nd. 5 winless to end the year for this New Mexico side under Eric Quill. Just shows you the cushion they amassed to still be the #1 seed through it all. Lawrence White stepping onto the back line here for Phoenix. Player that bring over, solidify things on the back end. Really helped them along this year in their defensive efforts. Again, 8 clean sheets in the last 16 games to close out the season. While they've been good defensively, the attack has still lagged behind. Added a few pieces to the attacking third in the months of July and August. Since they all came together on August 16th, nothing's really changed. They averaged 0.95 goals per game before that. They averaged 1 goal a game since then. So while they've been good defensively, it's tonight the night they finally find that uptick offensively.
And defensively, they've got to clean it up, though. They've had so many mistakes within their games that have caused a lack of confidence. Heads have dropped, and the other side of that is, Joe, is it's not just 1, but it's 2 or 3 within games. It's not the single domino. It seems like every single time they start to gain momentum, this Phoenix Rising team, a mistake is made, and quickly the train is off the tracks. It's certainly not about talent. It's not about dedication to the craft. It's more so about quality with 4 games to go.
Looking for Angel here and nearly found him in space. He's been a bright spot since coming over. 3 goals on loan from LAFC, a couple of those from the penalty spot, but still converting for Rising. And a free kick for New Mexico. Eric Quill has lifted a trophy under the USL umbrella. It was back in 2019 with North Texas in League One. Here in New Mexico now has been able to get this club to the heights they had hoped. #1 seed, and what comes after it. Talon Maples looking long, nothing doing there. It's an interesting time right now for New Mexico. The close to the season that they had, obviously not ideal, but a chance still to erase it all with a run in the postseason. Phoenix knows all too well what it means to peak at the right time, as they did last year. They haven't been a model of success in their own right down the stretch. 2-2 in the last 4, broadened that out. 2-5 in the last 7. Still did enough, though, in a crowded Western Conference to poke their nose above the line in here as the 8th seed. And the confidence of knowing they just came here 4 weeks ago now, excuse me, and beat this New Mexico side.
It certainly doesn't hurt that they had a little bit of help from all the teams around them. Tulsa losing 3 of their final 5. Monterey Bay, same conversation. The Oakland Roots just dropping in a free fall to allow Phoenix Rising to maintain relevance. There certainly is experience with the group that was here last year. You talked about Lawrence White. He's seen a little bit of that as well with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, most notably in 2021 en route to their Players' Shield, their Eastern Conference title, and falling just short against Orange County. But it does feel different in 2024 for New Mexico United, at least if you look at the total body of work of what they've been able to accomplish. Very difficult place to play. They've been balanced home and away, much like the overall form of Phoenix Rising. Looking for some sort of spark early on with the lack of success in the tail stretch of 2024.
Laquele Akale trying to ignite this attack. He's been a spark at times. 3 goals and 5 assists for him in his first year in USL Championship, coming from the ranks of League One. He was a first-team All-League player last year, South Georgia Tormenta. Won the title with them the year prior. Joined that summer, played a role down the stretch. Role escalated in 2023 again to first-team All-League. Earned him the jump to championship. Trying to find him in the pocket early and often tonight. Gloucester finds Akale. Dangerous set-piece taker as well, Akale. Driven ball through from Zico Bailey. Angel. You hear the name, and at some point when we show you a close-up, yes, it is the son of Juan Pablo Angel, spitting image of the longtime MLS great with the New York Red Bulls. Tomas Angel just beginning his young career. 21-year-old, started at Atlético Nacional in Colombia. Joined MLS this year with LAFC. After they acquired Olivier Giroud, really did not leave him with a seat at the table. Joined on loan on August 2nd here at Phoenix. He's been a regular starter ever since, wearing the number 9 and giving chase here.
I think the most important thing to take away from that comment is the Olivier Giroud thing, right? Obviously a name that...
Gloucester settles, flag stayed down.
The whole idea behind it that they didn't have enough room for him on the roster, so trying to create a spark here, and quality never lacking. I think he got away with one there. Chris Gloucester on the other side for New Mexico United. In order for them to have success that's constant, it just can't be one side, though. It's got to be Gloucester and Will Seymour bombing up and down these wings, forcing the width of Phoenix Rising deeper.
First corner of the evening now. Marco Micheletto, Zico Bailey standing down in that corner. Bailey the short option. Micheletto going to send it back post. Has some space there, ball loose. There was a shout for a penalty from New Mexico, and they're up in arms because it was called against them. Contact going both ways. Most times referees going to decide to not give a penalty in that situation. You be the judge.
Well, they say there was contact before that. I didn't see it there. The backside of that, the arm's away from Margarita, no? It felt like he had an extended arm on Anthony Herbert, but there was actually, they said that there was contact a little bit earlier on the bottom side of the box. I saw neither.
Well, let that show you 8 minutes in how physical these two teams are going to get in this rivalry as this one wears on. There's a couple of players involved there in the corner from New Mexico. Marco Micheletto, Zico Bailey. Show you how they've searched far and wide to fill out this roster. A lot of outcasts from other places for New Mexico that have banded together here to form the #1 team in the Western Conference. Marco Micheletto, time in League One, then to Next Pro. Made 2 championship games with Columbus. Won one of them, was the MVP in that title victory. He's been an instrumental piece in the midfield for New Mexico. There's Gloucester, another player who's Bounced up and down. MLS USL has slotted in as a regular starter. Through for Angel. Karams their way. Varela through. Blocked out for a corner. Good bit of defensive play by Anthony Herbert.
Great little step through there. Thought Rito was going to ask for it on the beautiful touch by Fede Varela. Certainly never hurts that the ball falls kindly for him, but a quick little back heel here. Thought they had the angle to be able to just slice right through. A beautiful ball played through on the quick little counter. Again, that little space. If I'm Rito, I was screaming at the top of my lungs, asking for it.
Charlie Dennis will deliver. Dennis drops it in. Can't get it clear here in New Mexico. It's how they conceded one of their goals against Phoenix a month ago in that 2-1 defeat. Kept alive by Phoenix, going for goal here. Tembakis makes the save. Varela the rebound. Had an open Patmar boy. Center back was still up from the set piece. So efforts both ways so far. White read that like a book. Otherwise, Paulie would have had some space. Eduardo Rito. Fede Varela. Again, looking for Angel, not the best of services. New Mexico holds strong, trying to get it clear. A couple of ricochets off of Emil Cuello. And it's out for a goal kick. Diego Gomez looking on, seeing an effervescent first 11 minutes in this one. Interim head coach taking over for Danny Stone back in July. Danny Stone got on to get Orange County into the playoffs and to a playoff victory. You wonder if that's in the back of the mind of someone like Diego Gomez and the Phoenix organization, that the coach they let go has already gone on to win a playoff game here in 2024. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but that would be a juicy Western Conference final if the chips fall that way. Phoenix and Orange County.
Sounds like you're filling out your Christmas wish list a little bit early, my friend.
Zico Bailey. Spent last year partially San Antonio before moving on to New Mexico. Originally a homegrown signing in MLS with Cincinnati. 24-year-old, again, like so many others on this team, just found a home here now in New Mexico. Band of misfits. Fit in nicely to be the 1 seed. Hosu. Bailey.
That's a great ball.
Floated centrally now, Rios Novo. Had no trouble with it, but the find out to the wing was brilliant.
That's what Eric Quill's looking for. Again, the decision-making on the tail end of it, not the best, but you know, you walk a very fine line against this Phoenix Rising team when it comes to how you want to go about attack. If you come too high too often, they're quickly, with their speed, can step in behind. Really good at absorbing pressure and then slicing coming the other way. Maybe lacking a bit of consistency in that conversation, but not quality. But if you sit too deep, we've already seen in the opening 10 minutes that you can really absorb too much and then you start to cough it up. They quickly jump on you. You're looking for that balance, that mid-block, which allows you to just maintain a high defensive line. There's not too much for them to get behind. And your outside backs have the ability to pick and choose your moments, especially on the long balls, those 30, 40-yard diagonals that they're so quality in.
Rocco Rios Novo, 95 saves this year, 12 clean sheets. Only one game he did not start. Very capable backup, and Patrick Rakowski filled in admirably. He was part of Orange County's 2021 title triumph, but Rios Novo, the hero last year in penalties in the final against Charleston Battery. A dramatic run to the finish it was last year for Phoenix. Every single game featured a late goal in either regulation or in extra time, or in both cases, regular time and extra time, to get them to where they ultimately ended up, which was lifting a trophy. For all the historic Phoenix Rising teams we've seen, we've probably gotten some long odds that last year's team would have been the one to finally take home the trophy. Sometimes it's the ones you least expect. I've come to learn that in recent years in this league. Not many people had Phoenix last year, not many people had Orange County in 21. Favorite certainly won it in 22 with San Antonio. Now this year's favorite lies in the East, in Louisville. See if they can go on and achieve what they're supposed to. It's been a long run, though, for the Western Conference. We've lifted the trophy in this league. Final that never was in 2020, of course, but Real Monarchs before then. 3 Western Conference teams since the COVID year. Have to go back to that Louisville team in 18. The last Eastern Conference team to win it all. Power has lied in the West. Quarter of an hour in, Tambakis sends it long. He's had 1 save to make so far. Nothing doing for Rocco Rios Novo yet. In goal for Phoenix. Glad to have you with us on CBS Sports Network alongside Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malva. Second game of our doubleheader here today. Those of you with us earlier caught Union Omaha beating the Richmond Kickers to advance to the USL League One semifinal. These 2 teams vying for a spot in the Western Conference semifinal in the USL Championship. Playoffs brought to you by Terminix. Lawrence White. Las Vegas Lights wait for a winner. Historic season they've had, their first ever trip to the postseason. Vegas would host Phoenix or travel here to the lab to take on New Mexico. Margarita in some space. Margarita looking through for Dennis. A better touch. We might be talking about a 1-0 game.
New Mexico United's got a problem centrally right now. They're doing an incredible job, Phoenix Rising, of moving Marco Micheletto, and they're not allowing him to establish any real positional dominance. So they rotate an extra player in, then quickly bring the ball back to the outside, and it's just not fast enough. You know, I've given you this analogy before. It's like a heartbeat when it comes to ball movement. You come centrally, you constrict everybody in. It leaves space on the outside. Great job by Cuello Margarita on the left.
Watch out, Rios Novo almost drifted beyond the goal line with it. A wry smile on his face and a deep sigh of relief. Trickier than he imagined it would be. Varela looking for Angel, and it is a corner. Won his case, Tomas Angel. Enzo Zambrano waiting to take the corner right in front of the packed supporters end here at the lab. Zambrano, good service. Dennis was there. Herbert powerfully heads it away.
Our team was founded in 1912, and our soccer team kicked off for the first time in 2019. When the clock reads 19 minutes, 12 seconds, get loud, get rowdy. Until 20 minutes, 19 seconds.
Craig Hurst starts his run. He's waiting for a service from Marlon Vargas. Hurst, a former member of Phoenix Rising. 2022 season he spent in USL Championship with Phoenix. Went from one side of the rivalry to the other.
And positionally, certainly It's a really good idea of what this team is trying to do, although it's a very different cast of characters than when he was a part of Phoenix Rising. And, you know, one of the things they've been trying to figure out in Mexico United as the season has gone on is exactly what the pairings look like on that front line. Now, they've dealt with a ton of injuries over the course of the season and just continued to compile them. But if you go Denny Bruce, you play Greg Hurst underneath. If it's Greg Hurst up top, you decide you want to play Bruce on the outside. Who comes underneath? Is it Micheletto? Is it Hernandez? Is it Bailey? And they really haven't found that complement of consistency. You know, depth is certainly something that they've been able to compile under the tutelage of Eric Quill. But it is something that, on the attacking side of things, feels like they've never really fully clicked throughout the course of the year.
Look out, Tambakis slips, pressure was there, one back by White. And Tambakis will let it out. Atmosphere here is fantastic. Our Michelle Montaigne has more.
Yeah, you guys have mentioned the history made for New Mexico United this season. Well, that momentum for the club has resulted in the club's commitment to building a new $30 million soccer-specific stadium. Capacity will see anywhere from 8,000 to 12,000, and that's a really good thing because you look at this atmosphere here tonight. Guys, there were people tailgating at 2 o'clock, drums blaring. Joe, I'll hold that thought. As that one sails wide, I'll just continue on. You look around, you can probably hear it now. For these players, these fans to have a home to call their own, it only further drives home the growth of not only this club, but the league overall. It is a fun atmosphere to be in despite the rain and the cold, Joe.
Rain started pouring down the last few minutes here. That's certainly going to have an impact as well.
I've had a couple of opportunities to see this team firsthand in person, New Mexico United, but one that will vividly stick with me. I'll never forget the fall of 2021. It was Meow Wolf Night, August 14th. They hosted El Paso Locomotive. About 10,500 in attendance, and your bone shook. It was awesome. From about 2 hours ahead of time, being down on the pitch, talking with then head coach Troy Lassane, Zach Prince, and walking in front of the supporters groups. It's one of those things that you have to experience in person to truly respect how great the atmosphere is. But it's also one that is quite consistent too, right? Every single time they step in at home, 5 figures for New Mexico United at the lap.
Rain still coming down in buckets here at Isotopes Park. Paco Rios Novo playing out of the pressure for Pop Marboy. Slip through for Angel. He could be in. Angel defended by Herbert. Angel tries to dodge him. And well played by Tambakis. New Mexico still have not made any inroads through this defensive Phoenix. Rising, though, a few times knock on the door at the other end. Sort of what we've expected based on the last few weeks of play. Again, Phoenix 8 clean sheets in their last 16 matches. Significant defensive shift in terms of the success ever since Diego Gomez took over. On the other side for New Mexico, it's mostly been out of sync. Haven't won since late September. 5 winless to end the year. Gloucester couldn't keep it in play. A lot of jersey tugging there. Margarita turning to have a word with Lorenzo Hernandez, the referee. Felt he was fouled. Throw from Tambakis.
Well, just keep an eye on the little switch there from Vargas to the left, Akale to the right. You know, the idea under Eric Quill is you want to pinch those outside midfielders in a little bit tighter to allow this to become a 6-man attack. Again, Seymour and Gloucester do a really good job of allowing them to create numbers and strength out on the width. Now, Seymour won't be as rambunctious as Gloucester will. He's the one whose speed and comes high, but it also makes
Rito and Margarita come deeper, and that's where the strength comes in, because midfield quickly becomes the dominant factor for New Mexico United.
Trustin Vargas surprised you at all? Came in on loan in September, 6 appearances, only 1 start. So this is his 2nd start with the club, and it's in a playoff game.
It makes you wonder about the health of players behind the scenes and exactly what they're dealing with. You know, thought maybe you would have gone with a different player for sure. I'm actually a little bit surprised underneath, and that's not a disrespectful thing to Marco Micheletto, who he's been kind of in and out towards the end of the season. I thought they would go with Hernandez. That was the biggest look for me.
Now, those players you mentioned available for New Mexico and could come on later, of course, to impact the game.
I would say that the biggest difference between Vargas and Reyes is speed. Vargas gives you more speed, and against this Phoenix Rising team, the way that, again, at their best, the way quickly they can get up and down on the flanks, that gives you the flexibility to still be able to invert and play into the game model that Eric Quill wants, but also provide you the proper coverage on the defensive side.
Talk about the way that Eric Quill could impact the game with subs later. Phoenix, a very deep bench as well. I mean, this team just about as deep, just about as talented as the team that won it all last year. Just, it hasn't clicked for them 100%. When they've been good offensively earlier in the year, they struggled defensively. When they've been great defensively late in the year, they've struggled offensively. Again, all amounts to still making the playoffs as the 8th seed, and if you could catch fire the way you did last year, so be it. Well, that's been the aggravating thing for supporters of Phoenix Rising this year. Just hasn't clicked at the same time in a big way. Maybe that starts tonight, though. Charlie Dennis, awkward collision with Zico Bailey. In the aftermath of both Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit www.uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have the access to the resources they need to recover. Good speed from Eduardo Rito to intercept that one and keep it in play. Rito looking for Angel. Made the near post run. Behind him, Varela lurking as well. I feel like the rain is symbolic tonight here in this first playoff match between these two clubs. Doesn't rain too much here. Average about a half an inch per November. Got it all tonight, it seems like, in the last 20 minutes. Rito wins a corner. As a player, you come to New Mexico, you're not expecting this necessarily. And now it's something you've got to contend with. Slicker surface. Fans seem prepared enough. Some umbrellas scattered throughout. Charlie Dennis delivers. Collision there between Pop Marboy and Anthony Herbert. Surprised to see them both upright. Secondary ball in. Varela headed toward goal. Dembakis has it.
I'm surprised the referee didn't call a foul there, and as were the rest of the New Mexico United players with the arm up and trying to go after the ball. They're just quicker right now. They're quicker to the first ball. They're cleaner with it on the deck. They feel a lot more comfortable, Phoenix Rising, than New Mexico United right now.
Still without a shot registered, New Mexico. 4 shots, 2 on target for Phoenix. We inch toward the half-hour mark. Good news for New Mexico against this stout Phoenix defense. You don't have to score to advance. Get this thing to penalties, figure out a way from there on out. Bad news is, also means you got to keep a clean sheet the whole way yourself, and that has not been the strong suit for New Mexico.
And once again, Eric Quill doesn't have first choice selection along that back line. It took Kalen Ryden quite some time to get comfortable in his own skin throughout this season. He's on the bench tonight. We've had really injuries all over the place. Harry Swartz, first choice outside back. Abdi Mohammed went down a couple of games back. His backup, Arturo Astorga, done for the year, came through the U23 pipeline, and the second that he stepped in, he went down. Dayon Harris and his injury, though he's much higher up on the field. And again, no one's crying poor here, right? It's the name of the game, unfortunately. Just also unfortunate that at the best time of the year, you don't have proper selection.
Here's Hurst now. Something could be on here, and he gives it away. Did well to win it in the attacking half, but now it's Phoenix, led by Wyke the other way. Wyke, all the way across, finds Margaritha. Gerald Margaritha goes back outside. Forced away nicely by Will Seymour. Still Margaritha. Driven back post. Tambakis has it. Varela was on the doorstep. Rito wins it. Almost through for Angel. A couple of those near misses looking through for Angel. Margaritha, heavy touch from Quajo. Tried to find a way to keep it alive. Thought he was fouled on the way down. Shot a glance back at the referee, and then out of frustration, commits a foul himself.
I actually think that Quajo has done a really good job growing into the position out on that left-hand side as the season has gone on. His work rate on the defensive front has allowed a lot more flexibility on the left flank. The way that they're able to intertwine some of their defensive schemes, and whether they're pressing up high or trying to overload centrally, he's a big part of that. The way that he rounds out what can be this wing-back position, quickly drop into a 4. Again, he gives you a very versatile look.
Space for Vargas. Still Vargas. Now Rito. For as measured as this game has been at times, we've also seen it turn into a track meet at others. Rain still driving down here at the lab. Wyke will get there ahead of Vargas. Bumps it back up through the rain. Rito chasing, gets around Gloucester. And it's ultimately a foul called against Rito for the tug of the jersey.
That's smart defending. Drifting back in from Rito, who he tries to get away with one on the overlap against Gloucester, but the amount of games that he's seen at such a high quality level, knew exactly where the impact point was going to come from. Watch the left arm as he tries to pull him down here. Actually started just before and then reciprocated.
No love in the end, those two.
Yeah.
Not much love between these two teams in a rivalry that really hasn't had a name, but might have a winner. Los Bandidos coming up with El Clásico del Desierto. I'm with it.
I think about the New Mexico United faithful said that they're pushing it on their end as well. It's a little bit long to my liking. I would just say that, why not Del Desierto? And that's it. The Clásico name is constantly thrown around, and the footballing word, why not just remove that from your verbiage and be a little bit more unique in nature?
El Desierto, that's enough for you? Or just?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? Landscape encompasses everything. I just don't think we need to add the Clásico part.
You don't like the little word, the L, the del. You don't like Clásico either.
I just don't like it altogether. I think it's very well done. Listen, most importantly is that I love the fact that the two fan bases are working together trying to figure something out. Because let's be very clear, for a long period of time, it has been a talking point within USL Championship. It's trying to figure out a way to give it a name. And everybody says, oh, not everything needs a name. I'm with you on that. But this one does. This one feels different. It has from day one. And even though Phoenix Rising actually dominated the early contest in league play, New Mexico United have come on as of late. They've won 4 of the last 6 and started to even out this series. Everything on the field, off the field, it just feels like it needs some sort of proper moniker.
So if your problem is 4 words, I'll give you 2 words. Desierto Duel. Alliterative, more compact. I'll take the residuals.
Sure. That's great. Work it into a graphic, have my people talk to your people, and we'll talk at lunch next week.
Desierto Duel. You're welcome. Still waiting for the first strike in this Desierto Duel. 0-0 between New Mexico and Phoenix. 10 to go in this first half. 4 shots to nothing in Phoenix's favor. They've certainly been the more threatening of the two sides. But again, what's been their issue really all year long, propping up again. Averages a shade under a goal per game. Scoring's been a problem. If you take it a step further, you extrapolate out some of the extremes. There's been some games where they've exploded for 4, Phoenix. I know you can't just disqualify those games, they happen, but some of them came in bunches. They've been held scoreless far too often for their liking. And the problem becomes, if you do concede to New Mexico, do you have enough to get a goal back in your own right? Here's Zico Bailey looking for one. Bailey, a blast, and it's over the bar.
On the open run of play, I was about to say that I do like the change that is Akali over to this right-hand side. He's done a good job about just keeping that flank honest, but what they need more of is centrally someone to take a step further. Now, Huso is almost always going to stay late, which means it's got to be Zico Bailey. Well recognized here as he steps up through. The way that it pivots to the left, he quickly understands that there's about a 5-yard gap for him to step into. Clean first touch that sits right up in front of him. Quality contact, just a bit up over top of it, but well taken by New Mexico United.
Hosu, pivot point in the midfield for this New Mexico side. Drops it back for Herbert. You wondered earlier how Talon Maples would fare in his position. Seemed to have been a solid partnership so far with Anthony Herbert. Here is Maples. Came over after 2 years at MLS Next Pro with Houston Dynamo 2. Was MLS Next Pro best 11 in the 22 season. Brings a vocal leadership to the back line. He was a captain the last 2 years there in Houston. Pop Marboy here, fresh off a national title with Clemson. Decided to forego a Generation Adidas deal. MLS overtures from abroad. Signs here in Phoenix to begin his pro career. It's been a rock for them at the back. 27 starts, a couple of goals as well. Dangerous on set pieces. he stopped play to come over and chat with Eduardo Rito about something that happened earlier. Rito, one of the players who had the mass exodus from the Oakland Roots to Phoenix Rising after Juan Guerra went from Oakland to Phoenix. Now he's gone on to the MLS assistant bench in his own right after he won the title last year with Phoenix. Rito was one of the players he really wanted on his roster. A number of other players fit that bill. Charlie Dennis made that path. Alejandro Fuenmayor on the bench, Jose Hernandez, Juan Asokar, Darek Formella, all players that Juan Guerra had with him in Oakland, brought to Phoenix, ended up forming the backbone of last year's title team. And now the backbone of this team under new management.
I know it's certainly not a conversation that Phoenix Rising fans like hearing, but that also has to be part of what has been this year, where you have the identity of one manager, the personnel of said person, then that helm changes, right? Juan Guerra departs for the Houston Dynamo in MLS play. Danny Stone, one of his assistants, takes over. A very different style of play. And then with his departure, prior to before we knew he was going to end up with Orange County,
right.
We've got even more players coming in. A new style in Diego Gomez, and all of this while trying to figure out a way to get everybody to move together during league play with just abysmal performances early on.
I think the conventional thought from some fans, which obviously turned out to be a misconception, was, oh, Danny Stone was Juan's assistant, so he's going to run the same style, and it's just going to work. And then from there, Danny Stone's assistant was Diego Gomez, so it'll be the same thing. But three coaches, three different mindsets, work well together. It's why each was the assistant for the other, but systems and ideals all different. So it's not necessarily a like-for-like change where things were going to be easy, where, oh, Juan played this way, and so will Danny, and so will Diego. That's not the case. Be nice if it were that easy. Not how things work, though.
Oh, now another little change just as they establish possession here. Akali again on that right-hand side. He's come a little bit higher. Quajo backseat. Look at all the space that is available to them. Again, they have it in numbers. If you can get Akali just a bit higher, when he starts to pop out, you push Seymour in. That gives more pressure on that side. And to me, defensively, that's the more vulnerable side for Phoenix Rising. It can also be the more difficult one to deal with in transition on the attacking side, but pinning numbers back will give you success.
Space now for Varela. Out to Margarita. 24-year-old from the Netherlands, Margarita. Step over Margarita. Balloons it out of play. Had 2 goals and 2 assists after joining on August 16th. Played professionally in the Netherlands and in Azerbaijan before joining here.
Just as I say it when it breaks down on that flank, just recognizing the tempo within the system is something he's done really well since coming in. You know, one-on-one situation, you'd like the decision a little bit quicker, to be honest, because as he slows it down, doesn't really give a lot of options as the cut back across, except for the cut in and going 1v1. Certainly the rotating pieces on the front line haven't helped either.
Part of that rotation has been that Margarita himself had to leave for international duty. 7 caps for Curaçao. It's part of their October window, and CONCACAF Nations League started both of their September matches as well. So it's a good reason he's getting international looks with Curaçao, but it's not necessarily good for Phoenix, who were in the thick of a playoff race and needed his services, but happy to have him back, of course, now for the playoffs. And you can see the explosiveness he brings. Wanted to even go with Varela. He's jumping up and down. He wanted that ball back badly. Goal conceded at either end now will be backbreaking right before the half. Micheletto. Hurst, a wide open Gloucester down here. Deflects through centrally.
That ball needed to come about 15 seconds sooner, and I'm not exaggerating. I mean, this was wide open on the left side. Seymour saw it, Micheletto saw it, they just couldn't release it quick enough, and instead, about 5 passes, 10 touches, and an elongated period of time in order to finally make its way to the far side of the field. Again, just asking over and over, has to slow his run, has to cut it back again. You get everything you want. Our boy steps off the back line. Lawrence White has to cut to the inside to close down some of the space, and Gloucester is left by his lonesome. Again, the space is there, and the one thing I would say about the change that you have to keep an eye on is the balance. With Akali going to that far side, everything has become a little bit more predictable in their build. The overutilization of the right-hand flank for New Mexico United has become a bit one-sided. It's allowed Gloucester defensively to be a bit more effective, but unfortunately they haven't been able to get Vargas involved in the attack at all. There's no pressure on Lawrence White, and certainly in the overlaps, non-existent.
Some of these giveaways, though, playing out of the back from Phoenix, have led to opportunities. Another brewing here. Vargas calling for it on the back end. Never got through. No stoppage time was given, so there is the whistle to end half number 1 scoreless between Phoenix and New Mexico.
Given the way that the game has gone, neither team really lacking confidence. You have to give the edge to Phoenix Rising in the first half. They were more dominant on the ball. They were more aggressive, a lot more vertical in their way. And that's the thing that Eric Krill wants out of his team, is that he feels he needs to fight back, that positionally the game is going to have a tit for tat, but as they go, he wants his team to have confidence to play up high and go and be aggressive. Didn't see enough of that in the first half overall.
Two bitter rivals, New Mexico and Phoenix, play to a stalemate in the first half in the rain here in the desert. New Mexico had some inroads late in that first half. Phoenix, though, more opportunities early on. See if there is something to break the deadlock here in the second half. Otherwise, potentially extra time and penalties looming, which would in a way almost be fitting for how close these two rivals are and have been for a long time now. And Eric Quill, head coach of New Mexico, standing by with our Michelle Montaigne.
Thanks, Joe. Coach, you talked about managing differently in the postseason, not being as aggressive but more pragmatic. How have the guys performed according to that game plan coming in?
Well, good. We haven't given up much, but with the ball, we're just being too sloppy, being impatient. We've got to find our numbers around the ball. Rondo quickly, combine through that first layer, break lines, join, like the movement's kind of stagnant. So I think we're a little nervy. See, it feels like we're a little nervy. It's a little slippery out here, so hopefully we'll clean up the second half.
Best of luck in the second. Thanks, Coach. Joe, back to you.
Eric Quill hoping for a better second half for New Mexico. These fans are going to be loud and proud throughout regardless of what happens. That was one constant all half long. The fans brought it here in New Mexico. Scoreless through 45 between United and Phoenix. We send it to the studio. Stefano Fusaro and Chris Whittingham. Rain still driving down here in the lab. It's the USL Championship playoffs brought to you by Terminix. Scoreless at the half between New Mexico and Phoenix. One spot remaining in the Western Conference semifinal. One of these two teams, these two bitter rivals, will go on to face Las Vegas Lights in the next round. And rain still pouring down. You see Gerald Margarita trying to stay warm. A little shiver from him. It is cold. It is wet. It is the USL Championship playoffs, Western Conference quarterfinal. A rainy night in the desert for New Mexico and Phoenix to enjoy their first ever playoff meeting. Phoenix right to left in the red. New Mexico left to right in the black. Lorenzo Hernandez sends us on our way, and we're underway in half number 2. Will 45 more be enough to decide? We'll play an extra half an hour, and have penalties beyond that. We'll find out together. A lot of space here for Gloucester. Eats up the acreage. Akale. Mukwele Akale cutting. Akale shooting. First save to be made by Rocco Rios Novo.
Much better from New Mexico United. Eric Quill, myself both talking about the absence of verticality and aggression in the first half of play. Decision making early on a little bit better. The cutback across, trying to utilize the weather and turf to his advantage, but given what we've seen out of Rocco Rios Novo, both in the title run last season as well as what has been his personal quality this season, going to take a lot more to beat him.
You heard before the break what Eric Quill was saying about that first half performance for New Mexico. Felt they were sloppy, felt there wasn't enough rotation, felt there wasn't enough bite to the attack. Another early chance brewing here. Message received by these players. Akale cutting again. Akale back to his right. Micheleto tripped up a little bit. Rather, that was Seymour, excuse me. Waved off by the referee, nothing doing there. Angel cutting centrally, played his way, and Herbert clears. Herbert's had a couple of big plays on the back end for New Mexico. Spent the last 2 years in Finland after his collegiate career at St. John's ended. And this is out for a Phoenix corner. Early set piece in this second half. Swinger flicked on by Hurst on the back end. Had an open Fuenmayor just beyond his reach. Lorella. Nice play, tracking back from Dennis. Otherwise, could have been some space to maneuver for Vargas. Dennis, though, slow to get up as he slipped on the slick surface. Margarita now going for a goal save. Rebound is in! Varela gives Phoenix the lead!
And constant pressure was certainly the talking point in the first half for Phoenix Rising. Storming out of the gates, up high, overlapping runs, plenty of space centrally, but it had to be a one-on-one battle that was going to be able to create separation. And the best talking point that was was Margarita to close out the first half. Much better in terms of overall execution, split-second decision-making on the cutback to the inside, and on the release, everybody from New Mexico United watching the ball. Not the case on the back end for Fede Varela. Just beautiful form coming right through it to create the opening goal for Phoenix Rising.
The second half start they were hoping for, and we know one thing about this team. Well, two things. One, they don't score a ton. But two, they score enough because they've been so good defensively. 10-2 when scoring first. They only average a goal per game in the regular season, but they've kept clean sheets in 8 of the last 16, and now they have their lead. He won't get credit for anything on the score sheet, Margarita. It was his shot, though, that led to the rebound that Varela put home. Margarita, of all the players they brought in the summer, the attacking pieces, Tomas Angel, Gerald Margarita, you go to the bench, Damian Barker-John, who didn't make the cut tonight as far as the bench goes, Darius Johnson, who is available on the bench. Margarita has been the most impactful and the most dangerous. They've missed him when he's gone on to that international duty with Curaçao.
And the whole idea coming in was all of these new bodies was going to be an uptick in terms of quality in the final third, and that just hasn't been the case. There's a variety of reasons. We discussed them before, and just to mention again, it's the new head coach with this style, it's injuries, it's been rotational pieces around the health of the players on the front line in the absence of top quality. But not, you talked about not making the cut tonight. How about the goal scorer, Fede Varela? Extended conversation with then head coach Juan Guerra last year, the day of the final, talking about leaving him out of the 18 heading into that final game against the Charleston Battery. That's the type of quality and confidence this Phoenix Rising team was playing with. I'm telling you, I'm not saying they're the same team by any means, but there is a quality that we have not seen from this team just yet. And certainly that man, Diego Gomez, hopes it's the spark to something special.
Here's Angel looking for more. I think the biggest question for Phoenix has just been consistency. We've seen it in spurts. We've been waiting for them to kick it into a higher gear. It'd be a nightmare for the rest of the Western Conference and whoever comes out of the East if this is where all of a sudden they do put it together.
Diego Gomez, on chat earlier today, he said that certainly consistency has been the main issue. Played well a couple of good areas and then quickly turns bad. Bad goes to worse. Worse means even more drops points, but does feel like they've been the best in the tougher situations when they were outside of the playoff line with 10 games to go, trying to fight their way back in. Still have to get that gamer mentality a little bit, but the players here from last season, again, experienced a similar type run. Finding a way to just put it all together. The attainable goal, at least they feel like it's there.
For New Mexico, and part of what I'm about to say is just simply some games that were 1-0 either way, so they haven't been faced with deficits like this all too often since mid-August, but they have not come from behind to earn a result since mid-August against Indy 11. That's what they have to do now to at least force extra time and keep their season alive. Plenty of time still to do so. Gloucester played to the end line. He was there for Micheletto, and he did enough to earn a corner. New Mexico attacking the supporters end here in this second half. That'd be enough to spur them on in terms of the energy. Micheletto, White dealt with it, comes out for a blast that's over the bar. Akale struck it well. Coming out of the break at halftime, Michel Montaigne caught up with Diego Gomez.
Yeah, and Joe, he was happy with his team's performance in the first half. His priority for the second, keep imposing our will, play our style, dictate the pace. I asked about the lack of converting those several chances created by his attack early in the first, and he said, hey, we just need to be more clinical in the final third. I'm confident in who I have out on the pitch. And guys, Varela just showed us why early in this second 45.
The bell answered from that halftime conversation. Charlie Dennis, a nasty fall. It looks like Marco Micheletto kicking the ball into Charlie Dennis. As bad as this rivalry has gotten us sometimes, that's playful fun. Those two former teammates, South Georgia Tormenta, good friends. So no harm, no foul as far as that goes in this rivalry. Vargas, Hurst, almost around Pop Marboy, and Micheletto streaming in behind. Osu. See more time on the ball now, New Mexico, after conceding. Phoenix will be defending this with every fiber of their being. It's been their calling card since Diego Gomez took over. Question becomes, how long is too long to try and bend without breaking for Phoenix? Certainly have the horses up top to counter. Micheletto looking for Akale, it squeaks through. Akale chips it back post, Hurst was there, headed away, the volley in, blocked by Pop Marboy. Hosu, Akale, past Margarita, Akale took a deflection, and open Micheletto settling, looking for Vargas, Pop Marboy again, still loose for Seymour, and it ricochets off both posts. And now the assistant referee says it was over the line. New Mexico ties. We'll have to take a closer look. No VAR, call is the call, and New Mexico celebrates an equalizer.
An obnoxious amount of pressure sustained very high here. Recycled ball all the way back through. Watch the touch here by Micheletto. That touch right there is everything to bring the ball square back across. I don't see it. I don't see anywhere where that ball crosses the line though. Touch there. That's a much better angle, the way that it hits to the inside. The way that he takes this thing off the deck, Will Seymour. It's the smarts by Micheletto off the deflection, and when it pops out, calmly taken by Seymour across the body, and even off the deflection to the far corner. Looked like it squeaked itself to the inside.
Will Seymour, an unlikely source in his USL Championship career, 163 games, 2 goals. These fans did not have to stare up at a deficit for long. A little bit of a delay in the restart here. Well, Seymour wondering what's going on.
Ball's gone. Ball's gone from the far end of the field. They don't have the ability to restart play. And go back to it one more time. Watch the way it's going to catch a little deflection and then pop just inside that near post. I know it's really hard to tell. It's supposed to be, in theory, benefit of the doubt. You never want to walk that fine line, but
Phoenix trying to respond. Fuenmayor sends it up. Out to Zambrano. Ennis backing in. Rito.
is that in for you? You feel like that crossed the line? Is that in for you?
I think so. Hit the bottom bar. I don't know how else to look at it.
It doesn't matter. You can't tell that it hit the whole bottom bar is the problem. It catches a deflection. The whole ball has to be over the line. That's the problem there.
I think it was.
Now, common sense says that it crosses the line, but I got to tell you what. Understanding that you and I have the luxury of replay, right? And yet, can you definitively say, in all certainty, that that ball was 100% over the line? And now equate that to an AR on the far side of the field.
Margaritha trying to make that whole point null and void. Still Margaritha deflected, and it's going to drift out. Stay in play, though. It's slowed down for Margaritha. Margaritha delivers. Angel was waiting. We do have a definitive look at it, by the way. Next that ball, we will show you. So whether he was certain or not, the assistant referee got it right. And here is the look. He stopped it at the point of impact on that bottom bar inside. It's right there. It's it. 100% in. You've got about 3 inches there off the post to that back line. Pythagorean theorem, any way you want to slice it. Ball's in. You're still glaring at it. You need to eat some more carrots, Devin?
Try to figure out what I'm looking at, first of all. Let's be clear there.
Bottom left, that blur you got there from the freeze frame is the ball. And it is clearly over the line. Watch it go down, point of contact right there, 100% over the line.
Look, I think 100% is a little bit aggressive given the angle you have. I would say that common sense tells you yes.
A yellow card now for Lawrence White.
And most importantly, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter now. Does not matter. 63 minutes in, it's time to recover if you're in a Phoenix Rising jersey emotionally, and give credit to the character of this New Mexico United team who, over the course of the season, we have not seen them respond, nor as quickly as they got back into that game. High sustained pressure, chance after chance, not just in that sequence, but right after the goal. Everything that Eric Quill was asking for from his group coming out of the dressing room. Quicker in decision making, more aggressive moving forward. All of that summed up into one magic moment for the most unlikely of scorers in Will Seymour.
Now momentum shifting. New Mexico looking to capitalize. Akale stands over the free kick. Always a threat to go for goal. Brilliant ball striker. He serves it instead. Still loose in front. Vargas chips it. Curling. Slapped away by Rios Novo, and it's out for a corner. short from Makale. A miss hit. Michelotto trying to get it back to him. Somehow it gets there. Makale now. There's some contact there. Seymour trying to pull away from Fuenmayor. Hosu. Makale deadens it. Makale slips against slick surface. Been raining all night. Michelotto. Phoenix all of a sudden look a bit out of sorts on the back end. A lot of finger pointing, a lot of yelling. For what this game lacked in terms of punch in the first half, we've had plenty of it in the second half. 2 goals scored in the early going. Varela in the 49th, Seymour in the 58th. More chances where that's come from as well. Margarita. He's had a terrific second half. Follows it through. Now for a goal kick.
And he's had a good second half. Makale has had a good second half. A little bit less rotation through the midfield overall for Phoenix Rising, and the shape is a bit too flat for my liking, to be honest. And the way that they've bumped Margarita just a little bit higher. You know, they were running with a staggered midfield, that triangular shape centrally in the first half. Now as Margarita's higher and really go 4 across the middle, and it's more pressure out on the width and one-on-one situations that New Mexico United are just outperforming in as we speak.
Darius Johnson replaces Eduardo Rito. Johnson, another one of those midsummer acquisitions. August 22nd, he joined from the Dutch First Division. Played at Volendam. Margarita. Zambrano, quiet night for Zambrano. Often pulling the strings in the midfield. A few assists for him on the year. There's a lot of the dirty work that goes unnoticed too. We've certainly hit a pivot point in this game momentum-wise. Phoenix, after coming out of the gates, creating some chances, getting the goal. They sat back, invited the pressure. New Mexico gets the goal. Haven't spoken much of Phoenix chances on one end, while New Mexico has kept the pressure up on the other end. Deflection, Hurst in behind, tries the chip, taken down, out for a corner. Some contact there with Pop Marboy, not enough for a penalty. Phoenix all of a sudden seem like they're asleep at the wheel on the back end.
The interesting thing for me is this decision to go to the corner. You're telling me that Pop Marboy makes contact with the ball, then the player, then it comes off of him again? It's a very interesting happenstance that certainly wrong on the first one, but the second one, I think he gets away with one there that Mexico United a bit fortunate this ended up into the corner. Referee.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see that secondary touch off of Pop Marboy. All right, we agree. We disagreed last time on the goal. We agree now. Corner whipped in. Patmar Boy makes amends. Well, not really. It wasn't his fault. Thought the call was missed, but that was a little dispatch of it anyway. Here's Johnson. His first meaningful involvement since coming on as a sub moments ago. Dennis out wide. Took a deflection on the ball through, looking for Angel. Pretty much everybody over on that Phoenix sideline standing, engaged into it. Another sub being ready now by New Mexico. Margarita cutting again. That's how he helped create the first goal off the rebound from one of those shots. Defended well by New Mexico. Patmar Boy cuts it off in front of Greg Hurst. That's going to be a fun battle, it seems, to watch the rest of the way between Hurst and Patmar Boy. Hurst isolated on him a bit more. Tried to go more direct. Patmar Boy's been winning that battle.
Phoenix needs more of a representation on that front line if they're to find any sort of threat up high. The good news is they've gotten Fede Varela in a more advanced position. The problem is Tomas Angel is frustrated and he's wandering a lot, coming much deeper into attack. And as he does that, the back line from New Mexico United more than happy to just keep this game in front of them, usher it side to side. And outside of the one-on-ones on the outside from Margarita, no real threat from the visitors.
It'll be Avion Flanagan to replace Marlon Vargas.
Really found full rhythm into the game, did he, Vargas? Tried to make the switch from right to left. The good news is Akali found a home. The bad news is Vargas never really hit top stride throughout the match.
And again, that was always a curious start decision for Eric Quill. Again, not knowing the full health of everybody who could go how many minutes, but after he came on loan, Vargas played 6 games, only started 1 of those. So to give him a start in a playoff game against a rival, that was something that raised some eyebrows. I mean, just a hunch from Eric Quill. Either way, didn't pay off. See what Flanagan could do from the bench. Varela. Johnson. Wyke. Phoenix starting to gain more control now after about a 12-15 minute spell that favored New Mexico, including their goal. Margarita. And he wins a corner. Renzo Zambrano comes over to take. 5th corner of the evening for Phoenix. Zambrano glanced on, still loose, blasted in through the traffic. Secondary chance here, and it's just wide. Cuejo had the chance secondarily.
Well, the substitute Flanagan. We're in the middle of the firing range. Really well done the way he sets himself atop the 6. Just in front, good touch. Nearly goes to ground. And you know, the one thing you could be picky of was the chance coming back in. And it's difficult, right? but trying to bring the ball up off of the deck, especially with your instep, you've got more control with all the bodies in front of you. Quite difficult to put it on the deck and be able to make its way through traffic.
We are soon going to find out if Phoenix has that same magic touch late game that they did last year in their run to the title.
2 balls on the field would help. What unfair advantage.
Cuejo battling, he was the hero in some of those days. The opening instance actually against San Diego, they had a lead, blew it. Phoenix ultimately found that late winner, 119th minute in extra time, and a chance now on the free kick. As Margarita's brought down, it'll be a card for Anthony Herbert.
He is fun to watch, John Margarita. Again, just so crafty, and every single time you know that he wants to get it back on the right foot. But he sets you up too. We've seen him use it to his advantage. Then quick cut to the byline and then down across the penalty area, this time using the momentum of the defender against him. Herbert drifts back over, creates the contact, and I wonder if there's any sort of trickery with the angle that they've got here, trying to move around the wall, and whether you want to go off the second or third touch and then try and have it like that.
Greg Hurst made a nice save. Whistle was blown. So they showed their hand. We'll see if they change it up now. And mind games, if you're in New Mexico, are you anticipating the same thing?
Now remember, Charlie Dennis's left foot. Watch him on the break to see if he comes back across on the ground.
Zambrano chips this one. It'll come out to Dennis. He sends it back in, brought down, miss-hit, still loose in front. Potmar Boy is being tugged down, but not much there. He's out of position now if New Mexico can control and go. But Zambrano slows it down. Starting to mention moments ago that Phoenix last year, 119th minute in the opening playoff game against San Diego. Fast forward, next round, Orange County. They score in the 1/16th to win it. Fast forward, Sacramento. They go ahead and they score in the 80th to tie, 90+2 to win. And then in the final against Charleston Battery, a 90th minute equalizer. That was their run to the title, and every single game featured either a late equalizer or winner in regular time or extra time. Into the final dozen minutes of the 90 now. Dennis delivers, Potmar Boy, the snap header saved by Tambakis. Was dealing with a crashing Angel as well, might have been going wide. Not a chance you could take there with Angel crashing. Nice ball in, Angel. That's again one of those on a dry night. Might have set up for him. Instead, it skips out.
You had to be safe if you're Tambakis, but watch the way that he has to time this and adjust his body. When he's coming down, he's trying to account for the angle of Tomas Angel, and it's difficult to judge, especially with the way that it hop-ups off the deck, but that's why he's the all-time leader in saves in USL Championship history. Well taken by the goalkeeper.
A great look from the camera crew. From that angle, you can tell that ball was going in, if not for the intervention by Tambakis. And more to come here for you in the USL on CBS Sports. Coming down the wire in League One and Championship playoffs, culminating in those finals. League One either on November 16th or 17th, and then USL Championship on CBS at noon on the 23rd of November. More coming your way next week as well.
Much more multi-dimensional in their attack here in the second half. New Mexico United with that man right there spearheading all of it.
Akale cutting. A lot of clearances from Potmar Boy. He has been ever present in the middle of that box.
They're just so much more threatening and possession moving forward. Again, the midfield three of Zico Bailey, Micheletto, and Husu. If Husu drops under, they have a good counterpart when they bring it into the double pivot if they jump high. Sometimes the three of them have come aggressive. Micheletto, much more within reach, although it will be the end of his night, but it's allowed Akale on that right-hand flank to have a lot of freedom and really pressure this back line, pinning them back, opening up space.
Sergio Rivas has been a mainstay here in New Mexico since 2021. Local kid, Chibola High School, played for the USL 2 side, Albuquerque Sol. 137 appearances for New Mexico in USL Championship, 21 goals, 14 assists. Nice piece to be able to bring in off the bench for Micheletto. Mentioned it earlier that both these teams pack a serious punch off the bench. Two deep teams as we got to the later stages of regulation, and then to potentially getting close to it extra time. They can certainly bring in some game changers. 8 to go of the 90. Margarita.
Great ball.
Quaisho delivers, cleared. It's Talon Maples making the stop. Dennis now cleanly won, referee all over it. And now brought back for a free kick for Phoenix. A bit of refereeing there to see if the advantage played out. It did not.
We give Lawrence Hoyk a lot of credit here because he knows the contact's coming, selling his body out on the tackle to try and reach through it. Refereeing crew allows the moment to play on. This is what I'm talking about right there. He knows that he's going to get cleaned out. Dear Lord. How does that not happen with a card on the back end of it? A bit fortunate.
Dennis clips it. Doesn't reach the intended target. You had Potmar Boy angling to head it back across frame. Johnson blasted across back post. Fuenmayor lurking. Corner on the near side now for Phoenix. Sub being readied for Phoenix. Do they want it now? Referee is going to allow it now. Darek Formella comes on for Fede Varela, who left his imprint on this game, scored the opening goal to give Phoenix a 1-0 lead. Now Formella, one of those players who scored a late goal in last year's title run, one of those late heroes. He comes on in the 84th. Corner taken, an open header was there, and just squandered by Fuenmayor. Buries his face in his jersey.
Honestly, a bit surprised, Fuenmayor, that this falls so kindly for him. Not well taken. Centrally pops right off the chest. Probably a bit fortunate that handball's not called in that situation. How many times have we seen Potmar Boy, by the way, go vertical and win some of these challenges?
Flanagan on Wyke, centers, back post, Akale! Right in front of the supporters! Will it be enough to down their rival and give New Mexico a spot in the conference semifinal.
He's been the best player on the field all night long for either one of these teams. His presence constant, started on the left, moved to the right, but watch Flanagan peeks up the first time. He waits for him to allow him to get higher into the attack. Why? Because Greg Hurst wasn't there either. They had no presence on the attacking front. On the initial look, he recognizes he needs not one but two, and then Hurst starts to make the darting run to the near post. That drags just the tiniest of windows to open up on the backside for Akale. Mr. Consistent produces the utmost quality near the death for New Mexico United, who have their lead. A gift in front of the curse for United.
You mentioned it earlier, Devin. Margaritha's been the best player on the Phoenix side. Akale, playing down the same sideline, just on opposite ends, has been the best player for New Mexico. A deserved goal, and some love for Eric Quill as well. He took off Marlon Vargas, he brought on A.O. Flanagan, wasn't getting enough down that left side, and Flanagan rewards Quill with the assist. Free kick for New Mexico. Now the question is, can Phoenix find a way? Scoring multiple goals has not been their strong suit. Even scoring one goal has been a challenge in most games. This year averaged 1 goal per game.
Yeah, the other side of that story is, as good as Flanagan has been, Darius Johnson absent from this game on the right side. He has spent everything on the defensive front for Phoenix Rising, just pinned really deep. It's allowed them to maintain possession on that left-hand flank. It's allowed more rotation over to that far side. Numerous bodies have rotated into the space available, and that's a real good look at what they've been dealing with.
Las Vegas Lights await an opponent. They sit, they watch, they either take a trip here to New Mexico or they host Phoenix Rising. As it stands, we'd have a new champion in 2024. Reigning champions Phoenix in peril here, readying a trio of changes. Juan Azócar, JP Skiers, and it appears to be Remy Cabral, the third man. Akale got there. Akale again was a first-team All-League player in USL League One last year. Made the jump to USL Championship, has title-winning experience when he won it in League One in 2022 with South Georgia Tormenta. Now provides the late potential winner for New Mexico in his first playoff game with this club. Margaritha, floating, Johnson misread it. Goal kick, 90 seconds to go of the 90. Trio of changes here on the Phoenix side. One coming as well from New Mexico. They're gonna try to lock this down. Actually, already a second sub now. Nicky Hernandez along with Kalen Ryden. Mentioned the players coming on for Phoenix. JP Skiers, Remy Cabral, and Juan Azócar. Question now becomes how much stoppage time in store. You'll notice there, top of your screen, the New Mexico subs never made it in. Only the Phoenix players subbed on during that break. Akale with speed gets there ahead of Fuenmayor. Akale to put this game on ice. Akale going for goal, saved by Rios Novo. 6 minutes tacked on. A season-saving save from Rios Novo. Still work to be done, but at 3-1, it would have been done and dusted.
He's been an absolute magician the entirety of this game, and in the second half, even beyond the strike, lets the wand fly once again. Great footwork. And what you want here in one-on-ones is, as you commit, quick decision-making. The way that he gets him to just pause for a second as a card. Opens up the ability, bending to that far side. Rocco Rios Novo, he has allowed this team all season long to remain relevant in games. Keeps them alive at the end once again.
Akale limps off. That was his last involvement. Almost just made it 3-1. He did make it 2-1. Great ball in from Flanagan. Akale tucked it home. A goal that was deserved for Akale, given his efforts here tonight. And to do it in front of the supporters' end. In another packed house here at the lab. Michelle mentioned it earlier, that new soccer-specific stadium is on the way. You know, these fans will pack it out every time. Getting to do it here for the first time against a rival in a playoff game. They have not disappointed, and the team has not disappointed them. 4.5 to go in stoppage now. This is where Phoenix was able to rise from the ashes and win a cup last year. All the late drama, all the late goals. Was that carry over into 2024? Or did that magic run out with the trophy lifted in 2023? We'll find out in the next 4 minutes. Nice give and go. Stepping up off the back line, Skierce. JP Skierce. That'll be a throw down near the corner flag, not a corner. Dennis. Skierce. And Zambrano will go along to Fuenmayor. Pressure. Shot out of a cannon there. Hosu. Back for Rios Novo. Going the wrong way. New Mexico holding strong. Dennis now. Look at that line of red. Calling for it. Johnson on the ground. A corner now. Dealt with well by New Mexico. Margarita retrieves. Secondary ball in, body still forward. Contorting to try and keep that alive was Pop Marboy. Halfway through stoppage time. If this ends this way, narratives busted on both sides. New Mexico hasn't won since late September. Could hardly put a good foot forward over the last 5 games. Meanwhile, Phoenix, really defensively at times when they took a lead, could do no wrong. Soon as Phoenix took a 1-0 lead, given the way they played the last 2 months, Andre Diego Gomez thought that might have been door shut, lights out. New Mexico ends up coming back. Can they hold on? Margarita, it's flicked away. Zambrano looking for Johnson. It squeaks through. Johnson took a deflection out for a corner. Johnson ended up crashing into the ad boards. He's in some pain.
The studs got caught up underneath him too. The way that he has to try and break into this quickly, and Good vision down into the corner to find Johnson on the streaking run, but it didn't check the way that he wanted to because of condensation on the pitch.
Have to wait for the corner here. Under a minute to go is stoppage time. Leos Novo not up yet.
Just keep an eye. There's zonal marking right now on the back post, and JP Skierce is being allowed to wander just behind Azacar and Fuenmayor.
Dennis. There is Skierce rising for it. Formella skies it. Comes down for Dennis, 30 seconds remaining. Dennis swings it in, loose, bouncing around, saved by Tambakis. Might that be enough?
He's had 2 moments down the stretch here. Darius Johnson, well done by Dennis to not only take the first touch, but the second one. He's just trying to put a little bit of air underneath it to allow bodies to crash in, and that's a lethal touch on the backside of it, coming all the way back through. That is enough.
New Mexico United at home in the lab cook up a victory over their rival Phoenix Rising. There will be a new champion in 2024. New Mexico will face Las Vegas in the conference semifinal.
Unreal. That is as unreal as of a game as we've seen for quite some time, certainly between these two. The rivalry, the emotion, the lack of quality down the stretch from either, but the relevance never in question when it comes to the battleground of Phoenix Rising and New Mexico United. Rising flying high, create their opening goal. Felt like they could do no wrong. Nobody told Akali that this was over. Nobody told Somos Unidos that the journey was done. Appropriate changes, character, and the belief that the ability to get back in and overtake this match was still there. Seymour and Akali produced a spectacular. But this has been a group effort from start to finish for New Mexico United. And the dream that lives on just a little bit longer.
Celebration continues. We all got to catch our breath here. When we come back, a word with the hero of the night, Makwele Akale. We'll be standing by with Michelle Montaigne. It's New Mexico coming from behind, down a goal early in the second half. Seymour, Akale add up to a victory for New Mexico. These fans earned it, deserved it, the way they showed out tonight. And we recap it all in just a moment. Celebrations ongoing on the field here at the lab. They turned off the lights as New Mexico turned out the lights on Phoenix this season. Michelle Montaigne standing by with the game-winning goal scorer, Michele Aquale.
Michele, the first playoff victory at home ever. How does that kind of history feel?
It feels amazing to be a part of the first playoff victory in New Mexico. We have the best fan base in the league. I think we have the best coaching staff, some of the most talented players. We deserve it, and we showed that we deserve it, and we're ready for next week.
We got to talk about that fan base, the 12th man out and about tonight. Is there anything better than playoff soccer at the lab?
No, this is the best. I mean, like you said, they're the 12th man. We can't win that game without them. They pushed us through. We went down 1-0, but the crowd didn't stop screaming for us. So they pushed us through to get that equalizer and also the winner. So we're so happy, so happy.
Congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
Your man of the match. Have a great evening. Go ahead.
Kale, the game-winning goal. It sets things up here. Going forward, New Mexico will host Las Vegas. Colorado Springs will host Orange County. Fancy a pick for those games next week?
Oh, yeah, just throw me right under the bus in front of everyone in national television. I would say, listen, the upset certainly deserved by Orange County. Four very different styles heading into the conference semifinals, though. And just the idea that you can still go win a title. I don't want to preview it. Here's why. I want you to wait. You're gonna have to wait till midweek. You're gonna have to wait till next week. You know, the understanding that 3 out of 4 of those, New Mexico United, Las Vegas, and Colorado Springs, we've seen it coming from a mile away. Nobody saw that Orange County team, including the then Phoenix Rising coach, Danny Stone, who, if there's any twist heading into postseason right now, it's the Phoenix Rising coach losing his job, then becoming an assistant in Orange County, now the interim, now a top 4 remaining team in the Western Conference.
I was just about to say, this is salt in the wound. Danny Stone in the conference semifinal, Phoenix Rising not in the conference semifinal. A look back at the BetMGM play of the match that got New Mexico into that Final Four in the West. It's Akale's goal.
We said, though, that the change really took place, though, about 15-20 minutes of the game, where they moved Akale over to the right-hand side. They started him on the left. What that did was it gave him more space to step into. He got into a much more advanced position, and more importantly, they got him facing the game. So much of their play overall on both sides was negative in nature. They found him, they found their goal, and they found their victory.
Fireworks over the lab, a fitting end to the evening after we saw plenty of fireworks in that second half, which saw New Mexico United through to the Western Conference semifinal, a dramatic one between two bitter rivals. No better way to close out the opening week of USL Championship playoff action. For the crew that makes it possible, my broadcast partner Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa saying so long for now. There will be a new champion in USL Championship in 2024. Reigning champs Phoenix Rising falter. New Mexico United, the 1 seed, moving on. Good night, everybody.